Jim Quancy here again on our third of 7-part series talking about what is possible with Forge. And this will be suitable for both technical people, full stack web developer, and for business people trying to understand what they can do with Forge to help further their company's digital transformation. Or maybe you're an ISV or a system integrator and you want to help customers with their digital transformation. Before I get started talking about digital twins, I thought it would be good to just mention, if you haven't seen the other videos in this 7-part series, what are people doing with Forge, data visualization and analysis, digital twins, as I'll be talking about in a minute, AR and VR, SaaS integration, catalogs, configurators and design automation. There'll be a single video covering those two because they're quite connected. And then there's the photo to 3D service. And we're going to start with just a short video by one of our partners, Moicon, an ISV, independent software vendor based out of Norway, who is building digital twins for manufacturers. Those blue specks you see has to do with particulates that might, lead to a hazard for the people in the building. And you'll have sensors that are looking for that kind of problem. Here's maintenance work details by calendar. And you can see this is a model. Started with a Revit building information model, though it could have come from an IFC file. They actually make it look slick, doing a little work with 3ds Max. But with Forge, it kind of doesn't matter where your models come from. And then they're feeding sensor data in. Now, we all need to keep in mind with digital twins, the role Forge plays is getting the initial modeling, which is about context, whether that's a machine or a building or a factory, and for a display, a very intuitive user interface so people can understand what is happening in real time. And you could see here with Moicon, they were actually showing workflow. And I'll start another digital twin example, ViewOps, which is a division of DPR, who is one of the who's in the ENR 10. I think there are 8 or 9 of the largest construction companies in the world, and they have this ViewOps
in our software platform,
building maintenance and operations product they've built.
Model, and particularly the easy way to navigate into it and get to the information that they want. Imagine someone's working in ViewOps, looking in the viewer, they focus on an asset, they can pull up the work order history, they can pull up the trend data from the building management system, they can pull up FM.
Now, one thing I want to make sure people understand with digital twins is this is primarily about building maintenance, operations, servicing of machinery, preemptive, preventive, problem maintenance, those kinds of things. And again, Forge provides the ability to get the models which provide context into a digital twin system, into a building maintenance and operations system, into a machine maintenance and services system, and as well as part of the user interface. So the user who has to do the maintenance, who wants to know what's going on, has context. But a digital twin system will also have quite a bit more to it. I mean, there's the sensors, there's middleware. You get people like Microsoft's Azure Digital Twin Service. You get companies like Schneider Electric, Honeywell, GE, Johnson Controls, JCI, who provide additional important components of any digital twin, any kind of maintenance and operations and services systems that you may be putting together. And now I'm going to go and just show you a few more examples. And many of these are proof of concepts that Autodesk built to help people build their own, and to give a little bit of a inspiration on what is possible. So I'm going to start here with this jet engine. You can see the Forge viewer being used here as an easy way to visualize. You can see data being fed in real time, engine speed, engine vibrations. I can use this model Here we've set up some heat maps, problems, issue frequency, time to next scheduled service, cost, though maybe service is more appropriate in this context. How about maintenance information, revision history, part numbers? So what is this part number? I can go right here and I can see specifically what the part number is. And maybe I want to understand more about that specific entity. Let's go a little bit farther here, maybe look at a different part. Again, it's giving you context on what's going on. How about statistics, issues reported, problems that are happening? How about documentation? So we've got 2D, 3D, maintenance instructions, because again, it tends to be about maintenance, operations, and servicing. So let's put all this together. Maybe the purchasing people need to make some decisions based on what's been happening on the shop floor or actually out in the field. And that ability to do that kind of thing. Maybe I want to visualize. I've been making notes. It's a little overdone, don't you think? Yeah, we use this as a demo, so you end up with a little bit of repetitive notes as we show people what is possible. You can do some fun stuff. My engineers get kind of carried away. We can get a little animation kind of thing going on, kind of a little bell and a whistle. And then there's always the kind of standard capabilities that Forge provides, the Forge viewer. We can take it apart because again, maybe we need, the issue at hand has something where I want to create an issue or the maintenance is about a specific part. And again, maybe I need to find more out about that part. Not much on this model. So there's kind of a machinery example, and I'll get back to that performance kind of real-time data. Okay. Now let's look at another one. Not a machine, but kind of a plant. But it's not all that different. Maybe there's, I've got this kind of lightish orange, like something's going on there versus red. So let me go on and go see what that's about. I go to a specific part of this plant, this skid, and I can see temperature, acceleration, lighting. I can decide what to do. Or maybe somebody's out in the plant and they're reading a tag number and they want some information. So let me go to a specific tag. Tag number is 64321. Here's where there it is. And again, I'm seeing this kind of real-time information. I'm going to keep going along this because when you talk about a digital twin, what is it? A lot of people ask this question. It's, people describe it differently. My view, it's taking real-time information, maintenance information, operations information, and drawings and models that help provide context to help one better understand and better deliver a more reliable machine, building, wherever the experience is. Here we have kind of schematic view of a digital twin, hooked into a model view, because I may be using this schematic for kind of debugging, trying to figure out what's going on. But maybe I want the model because I'm actually going to go out, into the field, and I'd like some understand, what I'm dealing with, or maybe give me context on what I need to work with. Now, while I'm on this plant side, here's a different view. Now, this is like a digital twin of what could be a few, or dozens, or hundreds of facilities, buildings, infrastructure, machines across an area. Proof of concept we built for one of our customers. I'll tell you, aerospace companies, we've had quite a bit of uptake, as well as petrochemical, oil refineries, things of that sort. So I clicked on that one area, and we're going to jump in and get specifics. I could call this a more detailed model of the plant. And, what do I want to see? And do I want real-time information? And, what kind of issues or problems I may be having? Right, so maybe I just want to get the structural out of the way, and I'll get electrical out of the way to help clarify what's happening. Maybe I want to go to real-time, select a piece of equipment or a pipe, and I'll get some real-time data. Right? So again, I'm trying to make a decision and maybe how I'm operating the plant most efficiently, or I need to make a decision. I need some help with some maintenance I'm going to do, and I want to know what the current temperature and pressure is in this area that I'm going to be working. Or maybe what I'm interested in, again, is issues, things that have to be addressed, kind of work order kind of stuff. It's got a specific work order in a specific area. Now, I was looking at one of the facilities. I go back to this kind of global view, and I want to jump and look at another facility. So let's go look at that other area in the plant. Now, these are proof of concepts, so we grabbed some kind of models we had handy to show customers kind of what's possible. And again, it's simple, what's the areas, what's the systems. Again, I'm going to move to get rid of structural and electrical to kind of clarify what we have. Again, maybe I'm interested in some real-time data. Or again, maybe it's about a specific issue that we're having, short-term issue, and I can create an issue right here and tag it right here. And here I'm doing it from my desktop, but this could be you're doing this from a tablet, out in the field, from a mobile phone. Easy, kind of not a big deal. Just another example that's more of a building, less of a plant, done for a large aerospace company to show what's possible. There's been 2 or 3 aerospace companies who have implemented these kind of systems. And here I'll click on the main factory. Now, we didn't have a good factory model to do this with, and the customer didn't want to give us their factory model, which is understandable. It's considered, proprietary kind of information. So this model will load. And over time, I'm going to get details of the building information model. And on the right, you'll see maintenance and operations kind of systems. And here, building risk history. And we're using different kinds of widgets. This is just a web page. Most of what you see on both the right and the left is just open source web. Is it JObjects or, what's your favorite web tools? Here on the bottom left is information that we wanted to expose from the building information model. In the middle, there's the model, but maybe what I'm really interested in is a floor plan because maybe we, need to move people around, or a building section, or maybe I'll go back to 3D, and maybe what I want to look at is some subsections like, show me all the doors. Here's all the doors in the model. Maybe what it's really about is about counting doors or getting specific property information about the doors. Maybe it's fire ratings, whatever it may be. And you can see here we've done things like, had specific projects. Let me get all the objects shown again. See if I can do this. I know what I need to do. Let's do a flip, and we'll get a full model reload. These are proof of concepts, not really production systems. Let me go find out what's happening. What's project 2? It's in this area of the building. So I think you get the idea. Now I'm going to go on to some infrastructure because we've kind of looked at factories, we looked at machines, we looked at buildings. How about highways? And this is 20 kilometers of highway. I would like to thank the folks at Norconsult who gave us this model. Norconsult, based up in the Nordic region, based at, headquarters in Norway, but do a lot of business all over Northern Europe. And I can zoom in here, and you'll see I'm looking at specific pieces of highway, and you see this nice measure at the bottom where I can go to specific parts of the highway, like take me to the first kilometer. And this is in a piece of pipe, or I should say a tunnel. Show me the second kilometer, third kilometer. And notice with the third kilometers, there's a little bit of yellow, and and you can see what that's about. Oops. We've got a pothole here. That's what that marks. Fifth kilometer, what's this camera? Let me go to the 5th kilometer, and we've got a live video feed. And if I wait a sec, we'll see the live video feed. Now, I'll tell you again, we kind of marked this up. This live video feed is actually coming from somewhere in California. How about kilometer 7? You can see a little bit of a file icon. This is a drawing, an engineering drawing. Again, that ability to put together engineering information, video, so it becomes very easy, very intuitive for somebody who's doing maintenance and operations to quickly scan their way through, in this case, 20 kilometers of roadway. There's a lot of tunnel here. Again, it's all model. I can always change my view. Now, what's this red? So this little red icon is basically a little bit of a cave-in. So this part of this embankment here has fallen on the road. And your opportunity here, and whether this is a live video feed or whether this is a photo that was taken from someone's mobile phone or tablet, or just somebody who's driving by and wants to report it, and they can just do that. And again, I'll go here, roadway mile 13. Oh, maybe we'll have some fun here because when you move your way, you can see this is a pretty serious bit of construction going on, and there's bridges. See if we can go look at a bridge here. Road, tunnel, there's a lot going on here to say the least. And all visible for you to work with and understand, and your maintenance and operations people to understand. Norconsult also uses this kind of system using Forge during the construction process to help people understand what they're going to build and what's going to get built next. Another example of what can be done is done by one of our partners, CC Tech, the Center for Computational Technology. And they've actually put together live a video feed with machine learning to identify cars in the live video feed and then map that to the model. Now, why would you might want to do this? Well, the live video feed is, it's pretty cool. But if I can get it into the model, I can then do analytics. I know where cars are. I can change my viewpoint, something I can't do with a live video feed. But it's actually quite easy to do, using the Forge-based viewer. And again, with the viewer, you actually know where these cars are in context of the model and can run interesting analytics and simulations. Pretty cool stuff, don't you think? And with that, let's go back to the PowerPoint. I'm going to show you a bit more. We're going to run a few videos.
You designed a beautiful
Iviva,
building
based in
and
Singapore.
constructed it efficiently. Now it is time for you to use your BIM for the next phase, building operations and facility management. That is where Iviva Smart Bim comes in. It's built using Autodesk Forge platform, and it provides seamless access to your BIM models in BIM 360 docs. You can choose a BIM model and pair its elements with your equipment and systems. Now, Iviva Smart Bim has turned your BIM into an access portal. You can operate your building systems, such as air conditioning, CCTV, and lights, and you can also interact with applications. For example, book your space allocations right here in the BIM. Let's say someone reported an incident. PIN appears in Smart BIM, and with your ability to access everything around incident's location, you can quickly figure out what is happening and take necessary actions to resolve the situation. With Iviva Smart BIM, you can turn your building into a smart building. Here is an example. Apply a workflow to automatically control equipment of a space. Drag and drop the equipment you want to control and deploy the process. Now your building infrastructure will be automatically operated based on the booking schedule.
So that digital twin by Iviva out of Singapore, which was one of the terminals at Singapore Airport, pretty cool stuff. So I'm now going to run you two videos by two different Autodesk partners in China who will be building digital twins. And a lot of this is infrastructure, subways, buildings, public places. And it's got quite a bit of its own kind of exciting music. So I'm just going to let this run and hopefully you enjoy it as much as I do. Here's another example from China. It's pretty interesting seeing how aggressively and quickly partners in China have embraced Forge as a component of these maintenance and operations, these digital twin systems that they're building out, frequently for local government types of organizations. As you can imagine, too, is Forge is running on some of Forge is running on servers in the U.S. and in Europe, but that hasn't got in the way of our Chinese customers and partners embracing the technology as a way to more efficiently, more effectively manage infrastructure. Here you could see little offshore rigs. You'd be surprised. Some of the biggest oil operations company in China um, is using quite a bit of Forge for managing, operating both their onshore and offshore platforms. This digital twin of that roadway, you've already seen that. Again, special thanks to Norconsult for giving us the content, and one of my engineers basically put this interface together in a day. Pretty cool stuff. And you've already seen this digital twin capability done by CC Tech, the Center for Computational Technology. Some really good partners of ours based out of Pune, India. Again, you may go, so what Forge web services were being used? Along, again, with digital twins, this bigger stack of technology, that runs from sensors that may have been built by Texas Instruments to middleware like Microsoft's Azure's digital twin, to middleware from GE, from Johnson Controls, from Honeywell, from Schneider. The other parts that are being provided specifically by Forge in these areas, in these demos I've been showing you, is data management. So again, moving files around, moving models back and forth. The model derivative to extract data from the models and to create the model that you can see through a web browser using the Forge viewer. And in a few cases here, the content being managed for maintenance and operations through a digital twin kind of environment was actually being managed in BIM 360, so also using the BIM 360 API. Learning Forge, hey, if you are a full stack web developer or you're working with a web developer, this is where to go to get started. Learn forge.autodesk.io. This tutorial, if you know nothing about Forge, but you're a full stack web developer, might take you 2 days to kind of get through the whole tutorial, but it'll take you through the basics, getting app keys, authentication, taking you through getting your first viewer up, which will probably happen in the first couple hours, but integration with BIM 360, moving on to design automation engines. It's all pretty fast because, again, it's based on kind of web standard, cloud standard. So it doesn't really take much, if any, understanding of CAD or BIM to kind of do the basics and build these kinds of experiences. The other thing, don't be bashful. Ask for our help. You can send us direct email, forge.help@autodesk.com. That gets directly dumped in a support queue that one of my engineers picks up within a day. Feel free to do more than just ask a technical question. Feel free to say, hey, I want to talk. And maybe the talk's about business or pricing. Maybe it's a technical thing. Maybe it's about advice on working with Forge with Azure or with AWS or with Google or whoever your infrastructure provider happens to be. The other thing, a lot of developers are kind of bashful. Just do a Google search on your favorite learning tool. Autodesk Forge GitHub, Autodesk Forge Stack Overflow, Autodesk Forge blog, Autodesk Forge YouTube. We have lots and lots and lots of self-learning content. Though that said, I advise lots of people who are new, if you know what you want to do, what you're trying to accomplish, use forge.help at autodesk.com because we can help you figure out where's the best code samples, where's the best blog postings, what are the videos you want to go to first that'll help you quickly get to what you're trying to accomplish and have your first successes. And of course, we have the formal docs, and you can find pricing and a lot more about Forge. Dozens and dozens of customer success stories at forge.autodesk.com. And that's it. And thank you for joining me for this part 3 of 7 of exploring what is possible with Forge, and on past digital twins to our next session. Thank you.